Hey guys, it's Brandon Miniman from Pocketnow.com, and this is part 1 of the video review of the Samsung SGH-i620, also known as the BlackJack slider. Now, if you watched the unboxing video, you may have noticed that the device came with 2 batteries, and I was wondering why. Well, one is the standard battery, and one is the extended battery. The standard battery, which is very thin, I should add, take a look at this, very thin, is 850 milliamp hours, whereas the extended battery, which is not much thicker, is about 1500 milliamp hours. Now, if only Samsung would get good at optimizing battery life, they wouldn't have to include 2 batteries, but until they do, we have an extended battery to use. So let's put the battery in the device. The SIM card goes in the bottom right corner there. Snaps in. And there we go. Now on the front there are 6 heat-sensitive buttons, and they're heat-sensitive like the LG chocolate, so you can't press a button with a pen, you have to actually use a finger. And the sensitivity is pretty good on these. I'll talk about that later. Also on the front is this rotary scroll wheel, which takes the place of a side scroll wheel. It also doubles as a D-pad, so you can do up, down, and the side to side, and OK is in the center. Let's turn the device over to the side here. We have the micro SD slot, which is hidden by a little flap, and then we have the volume up and down button. Going over to the top, we have a power button and a nice chrome strip along the top. And on the other side is a profile switcher button, and usually if you have a smartphone you know that the power button usually opens up the profile switcher, but in this case there's a button dedicated to that. And then there is the charging port, also syncing port and audio port. It doesn't have a standard headphone jack. Going over to the bottom we have the microphone, and flipping over to the back we have stereo speakers, and I can confirm that the stereo speakers actually makes music sound more clear, though not loud. For example, the speakerphone on the i620 isn't as loud as it is on the BlackJack, even though it has 2 speakers. Not sure why that is. And something that bugs me is that there's an advertisement for Samsung's website on the bottom. I thought it was enough to have their name here, not there too. Come on, Samsung. Now, I mentioned that the keyboard on the i620 was the same as the BlackJack, and it is. It looks exactly the same. The slight difference is that the keys on the BlackJack are raised more, if you can see a profile there, compared to the i620, which are pretty shallow. And I find that the shallow keys are actually more difficult to type on than the BlackJack. Finally, I should mention that on the front in the upper right corner is a front-facing video camera should you have access to a network that allows for video calls. I do not, so I will not be using that feature. So that's part 1 of the video review of the Samsung SGH-i620.